Alright guys, welcome to the second part of this series on HTML basics. This is the part 2, and today in this part I would like to discuss file system, the prerequisites, which is the basic knowledge you need to know about the file system of your computer before you start digging into HTML. So let's have a look at an important skill that all practicing web developers need to know, which is the file system. And the reason is that when you are creating websites, you are creating folders and files all the time. And I've met so many students who have no idea of what a folder is, what a file is really, and even creating them on their particular computers, either on Windows, Mac, or using Linux. It is usually a challenge for so many people. So I would like us to brush quickly on it and show you a bit what it is and how maybe you can try to get your hands on it so that it will become a habit for you to quickly do that, because when you are building a website you won't have to waste too much time on this. So we are going to look at what a folder and a file are and how to create them quickly. We'll also try to understand their extensions. What is the meaning of a file extension? What does that involve? And then in some cases you'll see that your files and folders are hidden, or the extensions are hidden. How do we show it? How do we make it appear? And how do we hide it in case we want to? So let's start by looking at what a folder is. So a folder or a directory is a space on your computer memory under which other pieces of information your computer can be grouped. Under which other pieces of information on your computer can be grouped. So what that means is, look at a folder as just a categorization. So you categorize items into a group of items. So let's say fishes, mammals, and all this. So if you can put things together and have a container to contain it, so that container becomes what we call a folder. And when you look at your computer, they are usually full of folders. If you are on Windows, so let's have a look on my computer. So you can see things like this with these icons. Those are folders. They have these icons. And when you are at the home here on Windows, this Windows 10, so you can always see the symbol usually representing the folders. So let's go back to our presentation. So the file is to a computer what a sheet of paper is to humans. So we write the real information on the files. Imagine you having a sheet of paper, you write text and all this. So the same thing happens with computers. Anything you compose, anything you create on your computer, it might be an image, a text message, as your CV. It is actually on a sheet. It's kind of on a sheet of paper. You are creating all these elements. The picture, the text are all standing on a container or on a surface that can support them, that can carry them, and that surface on which you put it is what we call the file. And like I was showing right now, I was showing the folders. When you look at when you look around, you will see actually, and anything you open here will have a content. It will definitely show you a content. So either a picture, a text, or tables and other things. So it can be anything, but that's where you actually have the content. So when you take folders, you open them, they contain files. You see, and all the files have their final content on them. In this case, we have pictures, and you can see once you open the picture, you have the content of the file. So let's continue again to the next slide. So the next definition of the file, which is a bit technical, is the result of a software activity. So what it means is, for example, I'm actually using LibreOffice Impress, so which I'm using to create this slide. Okay, so when I finish doing this activity and I save it, I have a result. the result is what we call the file. And the next thing to know too is that the file's extension, every single software you use to create a file, and then once you save it, the software will add what we call the extension, which helps to determine the type of the file. When we look at the files on the folder, you can see that they are not all having the same icons. That shows directly that they are a bit different. So we can see this is a Photoshop file, this is a picture, this is an Adobe Illustrator file. So many differences between them, and the type, the extension helps us have that type. We'll look at what the extension is shortly. Right now, after this talk, that's what we're going to look at practically. So the file tool, the extension of the file tool allows us to know the software that created it. So when you take Microsoft Office files, you usually see that they have a docs, doc or docx. So that when you see that extension, you automatically know that, oh, this file is created by Microsoft Office Word, and so on, or any other software you can use to create a file and then give it that same extension. Microsoft Office will be able to open it, and that's what brings us to the next aspect, which is what software can open the file. So the extension also determines what software can open the file. And what we mean by opening it is basically software don't look at the content you write, but they look at how that content is encoded for the computer to understand it. So they are able to understand that encoding system and therefore be able to open the file and show you the content. So this is a basic principle that also goes with the web development, because later on you see that, like I said earlier, we are going to create many files and folders, and these are the files we are going to use to write the content of our website, and therefore allow the computer to interpret it and bring the result out for us to see the preview as for a website. So quickly, let's look at what it means to create a folder practically. In practice, to create a folder is basically easy. On Windows, you just open any folder like this, or it might be on any location on your computer. Windows will usually give you default locations like your desktop, your document, your download music, pictures, and videos. So you can decide to create more folders on it. And to create a folder wherever you are located on the window, you can just click on this new folder, and then it will inject this kind of thing on the window, and you will be able to write the name into anything you want. So I can say website, and then you press enter on your keyboard, or you click on any empty space, and then it will apply the changes. So sometimes too, you will see people go by just placing the mouse on any empty space like this. Be careful, don't let the highlighting on a file or a folder to appear. Just some empty space like this, and you do the right click on your mouse, and you see new, and then you see folder. By doing so, you also get the chance to create the folder website too, and you press enter as well, or you click on any empty space and it will apply. So that's how you create a folder. But now, how to create a file? When we look at our last definition of the file, you can see that the file is the result of an activity of a software. So it means to create a file, you might need, in most cases, to go buy a folder. So in this case, for example, this presentation, I didn't save it before I started recording. So to record it, to save it, I just need to press Ctrl S, or go on the file menu, do save or save as, and then it will ask me where I'm going to save it. I'm going to save it in my documents, and I decide to say okay, presentation. And when I do that, you can see Impress is actually asking me to define the type of the file. What type am I going to give it? And you can remember I was discussing the types earlier, and you can see here we have the type of PowerPoint 97 to 2003. That's for Microsoft Office. So PowerPoint 2007, 365, and so on and so on. XML, so many formats we can use to do the presentation. And I'm going to use the ODP, which is the default for this software Impress. So I just save. and I made it on the document. So if we go back in my folder inside document and I search for presentation, so you can see the file is saved here too. That's how one way of creating files, by using a software, creating something. It might be an empty file though, so you might not put anything in the file, just an empty blank paper, and then you save it and you get the file created. Or you can just do right click, just like we did for the folder. Right click on any empty space like this. So you do right click and you go to new again, and you see different types of files you can already create, and but you can see it is already linked to specific software. So a document, a file with Microsoft Word document, or a file with Open Document Drawing, or a file with Open Document Presentation. So many ways of creating file. Or we can just create a simple neutral text file, which is in this case text like this, and it just pops up just like it happened with a folder, and we give it a name and we say text. So text, and we save. So we have a text file. So the next thing is, when we look at these files, we see that they have different icons, and like I said, the icons here already show what software can open it, or what software was used to create the files. But there's also the extension that can help us find it. Like I said earlier, the extension is there to help us know that to what software created the file and what software can be used to create the file. But so far in my case, we are not seeing the extension. In most cases, if you are having a fresh computer, that might be the case, especially on Windows. So what you are going to do here is to show the extensions, because by default Microsoft Windows will hide it from you, because it might sound like it's not really important, because it will be cumbersome for most users. But as a technical developer, as a technical guys or girls, as developers, we need to know the extension, we need to see the extension, and you will see the reason in next episodes. So to do that, to show the extensions, we go to view here, and we come to options, and we do change folder and search options. This menu pops up. We go to view again. So in the first folder section, which is files and folders, find the menu called hide extensions for known file types, and you can see it is checked, and you uncheck it and you do apply. If you do apply, it is going to keep it that way even if you restart your computer. But if you do okay, it will only keep it show the extensions for this particular session, which means at the moment you restart your computer or you log out or log in again, it won't happen again. But in my case, I'm going to apply because I want to keep it like that forever. So we continue. Now you can see that the files are showing some dot something. Now you can see the docx I was talking about, docx for Microsoft Office files, is showing very well. ODP, that's I think LibreOffice Writer, and you see ODP, that's the LibreOffice Impress, the one I just used for the presentation right now. So many extensions, executable, icons, layout, so many extensions. So the extensions actually allow us to see which files, which software created the files, and technically deeply, if you want to go deeper, actually the extension determines the type of encoding that is used, and that's where you really need to pay attention. So in our case, you will see very soon that we are going to use a particular extension that is called .html or .php or .hdm. So many of these extensions that are proper to files that are used to represent a website. So this is a bit preview of files and folders when it comes to website, and you have learned what an extension is, and that soon we are going to discover more extensions. We are going to work with extensions. We are going to create files and folders, and see you in the next episode. Thank you.